Thank you. Well, I'll be the first to say that that's unacceptable, and I certainly understand. I certainly understand how that feels to all the great fans that we have. The student section that's full. People come to the game, and I understand their disappointment. I understand our team's disappointment. I think when you end the season the way we have the last two games, it has to rest solely on me. And I've loved this team. I love everything about them. I certainly didn't think today would go that way. Thought we came out ready to play, and in the end, they were the better football team. So I don't shirk that. I own that. I'm responsible for it. I understand that in times like this, it can get a little bit negative, and I just say honestly, all that should all be directed at me. I don't want the players to panic. It shouldn't go towards them. It shouldn't go towards the coach. I think it has to fall on me. We want to be a team that gets better at the end of the year, and these last two games have not been that. So I take that and I own that, and I'll answer all your questions.
How much did it affect the overall picture that you can get in the end zone in the first half? 1 for 4 and getting in the end zone in the first half.
Yeah, I think that was really the story in the first half. I mean, we had 186 yards rushing. I mean, we just outrushed Iowa. We had 186 yards rushing in the first half, and they were able to score touchdowns, whereas we scored field goals. And so that certainly was the issue. But that's, if we're being honest, that's been sort of the issue most of the year, is just not winning the red zone touchdown battle. And so if we hold them to a couple field goals there, the game is different. Even at the end, it's 40 to whatever. We go down. We're hoping to make it 40 to 24, and we fumble in the red zone. So, but certainly early, it's really more the early start. I'd say it was that. We had a couple chances to make some plays, and we didn't quite make the plays, and they did a good job of making some plays.
Both your run and your pass defense were kind of disrepair these last two games. What do you feel like happened? I know it's kind of a bigger picture question, but what do you feel like happened to your defense?
Yeah, no, I think. Like I said, this is the last game of the year. I think it's the right time. I appreciate the question. You ask me whatever you want. I mean, today was to me today was about big plays. It wasn't like they ended up. Now, trust me, they had the ball, controlled the ball. They ended up running. But the play action game off the run game, and just probably having to do too much to sell out. Even playing a run defense, like we knew they on the long play there at the end, the bootleg, Sierra comes off and tries to make the tackle on the quarterback, and then they have an explosive play. I have to take some time to really delve into it, because, as I said, I thought we'd play really well last week, and I thought we'd play really well today. And certainly the kickoff returns and the field position tilted in the first half against us. I mean, at one point they had 10 points and they had 9 plays, or something crazy like that. So I was just like, hey, calm down, just keep playing. But anything I say right now, Sam, will feel like an excuse. It'll feel like me to say it like an excuse. I look out there, I see a bunch of young players. I just keep saying to them, like, hey, get off and make a play. You need a sack fumble. Defense is about big hits and picking balls off and sack fumbles and scooping scores and all those things, and we're just not getting those versus the higher quality opponents, right? And so this was a team that had a really good plan, and they made plays, and we just didn't quite make the plays. I thought we defended like the traditional run way better at times today than we have, and then quarterback, made some plays that really hurt us. We have them in third down, it's a cute run, cute draw, I score. Like we have them in the red zone, they score. I mean, those things can't happen.
Related to the red zone struggles, at halftime, you go in and Emmett's got 177 yards on the ground and no turnovers offensively, and yet you're down 8 points and they're getting the ball coming out. Is that a tough pill to swallow, knowing all of that going into the locker room?
I think going in the locker room, I like the way we took the ball early, saying, hey, let's get the game to the fourth quarter and have the win in the fourth quarter. So I knew we were going to have to battle through the third. I liked the way that Emmett was playing. I thought, hey, my hope was that we get back in the red zone and they would run the ball through the red zone, and obviously TJ got hurt early on in the game, and that limited a lot of the things that we wanted to do. And so, he pulled his hamstring, and so it was just kind of like Dana was like, hey, I'm not going to be able to move him around. One of our big thoughts of this game was like, in the drop back game, hey, he'd scramble around and make, because sort of the way that they play, and we were not able to, had to kind of abandon that early. But I didn't mind being down by 8. I mean, I just, we thought like, hey, this is kind of how this game's going to go. I was disappointed that we were losing, and our pass defense was losing. Kind of going back to Sam's question, they played man. We played man to stop the run, and they beat us. To kind of beat us in the passing game. And so it was sort of like, hey, well, I guess we'll have to play some more zones if we're not going to quite win. I think, if you play man, you got to win, right? So those things were hard today.
Are your receivers competitive enough today, both when the ball was in the air and while they were running their routes?
I didn't notice anything. I mean, you might have seen things on TV that I didn't see. I thought like on Emmett's run, I thought there were huge blocks. There were just a couple of miscommunications, right? Like there's a couple times we're running option routes and like, guy sits it down and I had no concerns with effort or anything like that. What I did see was 3 or 4, times we had, a 50-50 ball and we did, unfortunately we didn't come down with it. Their kid, even at the end, made a great catch for it. But I think our receivers have played well all year. We get in the game, we got a young quarterback, he pulls his hamstring and kind of limited maybe some of their opportunities. And also Emmett was, in a disappointing day, I don't know the right word. It was an amazing effort by him. That was something that, I'll probably remember for a long time, just how hard he played and how well he played. And, but yeah, I'm just trying to think, Sam, I'm sorry. I don't remember feeling like, hey, they're not playing hard or anything like that. Yeah.
Just like winning those 50-50.
Yeah, well, yes. Like that one, I think just in the end zone, Quinn just jumped too early. If he jumps a second later, hopefully he catches that ball. The second one, down the right corner, like it should be handed off. It's an RPO, but at the same time, you're hoping you make those plays. Our guys have made those plays a lot.
What impact do you think that safety had on the overall feel of the game?
I think, I think we came out, we got the stop, right? So we're down 8, right? So you get the stop and you're feeling pretty good. And then they kick it and they do a great job in the kicking game and they're offsides. So we make them repunt, thinking, we'll get an explosive play now. And, just kind of don't field it. And then we pick it up and, I certainly thought it was targeting, I thought he hit him with the crown of his helmet and all that. So, maybe all that, but it's still, so it goes, it's now a 10-point ball game, right? And at the end of the day, like on offense, like you went 3 and out twice in the third quarter, right? You have to get a first down and get the defense off the field, and so that was, to me, that was really the tail. But, Jacory's a great returner. The second return he had was a dynamic return. They called, the personal foul to bring it back, but, that I don't think that play was probably the end all be all, but it certainly didn't help.
Did they give you an explanation on the targeting?
No, they didn't. Well, they can throw that on the field. They didn't throw it on the field, so I kept asking them as I watched the replay. I was like, he hit him with the crown of his helmet. I know he's not defenseless. That's the first one, but he's hit with the crown of his helmet, and so it didn't go to review. They looked at it, I guess, wherever they look at it, somewhere off site, and then they just said they cleared it. So I was asking the officials, like, can you tell me why? And none of them could. They can't tell you why. So, because they don't know, right? Because they're not on that call. So basically, they said, hey, we cleared it. So I'd have to ask them why.
Were you close to, was TJ close to not being able to go with that hammy?
Yeah, we talked about it a lot. Even at the end, and I thought, just let TJ's future and what I think he can do. Like he drove us right down the field there at the end. Unfortunately, that last drive, with a tight hamstring. I've been proud of him and all that he's done. I think that's a great learning lesson for a young quarterback to have to go out there and play when you're not at 100% versus a really good defense. I don't know how many times we threw it today, but and he scrambled a few of them, and I don't think we had any sacks. I thought the offensive line answered the call. We ran the ball, we pass protected, and he got the ball out of his hand. But we thought about it. They thought about an offense, and I encourage TJ to play. Man, I would never want a kid to get hurt, but as a quarterback, you have to learn how to play when you're not at 100%. And I thought he tried.
I'm sorry, when did that happen?
That happened in the first. That happened maybe in the second drive of the game. Right, he rolled out right and got hit. So and whatever Emmett's drive was, the drive after that, I think down in our side, right. So he got hit, and so really for the rest of the game, he battled through it.
Was the injury to TJ a contributing factor into the goal line play with Heinrich?
Well, we were having to use Heinrich to do any sort of zone read stuff, and he ran it. They ran the ball. He read it, handed it off. Emmett got down to the 1. I think they were probably hoping that he would be able to hand it off again and get in. So Dana just said, "Say run the same play." I think they wanted to keep TJ out and him in. I think the hurry to the clock because, we were thinking, hey, let's go score and go for two and make it, 40 to 24, 40, whatever the score was. Make it, competitive and see if we can, go onside kick, get the ball back. So I think we probably tempoed it, and I think if we went back, we probably wouldn't do that.
Coach, what's your message to the fan basis with the highs and the lows this season has brought, and kind of how you move things forward with this program at 7-5?
Yeah. I don't want to say anything right now that's other than what I said at the beginning because I think people have a right to be upset, okay, with how it ended. For me, all I can say is I had some of the best recruits here today. I'm going to continue to work. I'm going to work as hard as I can, as long as I can. I'm going to surround myself with really positive people, not toxic people, and just try to continue to move the program forward. This group of guys is the first team to be bowl eligible 2 years in a row since 2013, 2014. So is it enough? No. But is it better than it was? Yes. So, but if I'm a fan right now, I'm walking away. I'm mad. So I'm walking away mad. I'm not saying I'm walking off the field. Some people are supporters. Like, good for them. Like they're passionate about this place. I love being the head coach of University of Nebraska. I love being in Nebraska because people are passionate about this. So I don't want my message to be anything other than I don't want it to be hope and all. It's like, yeah, it wasn't good enough, man. But if I start playing with positives, it's like, all right, Matt, But I think today just has to be that. Please don't be like super toxic at the players because I want them to just put it on me. Like I'm in charge of this. Troy and them they extended me. Like they believe in what we're doing, and then all of a sudden we come down the stretch, we lose these last two games. I'm pissed off at myself. Like I don't, but I know where we're headed. I know what we're doing. I know where we're moving forward. And so I believe in what we're doing. I believe in the recruits that are bought into us. I believe in the signing class Wednesday. And so I don't want to overreact. These last two games weren't good enough. We'll get a really good bowl game versus a quality team. We'll catch our breath. Well, I hope all those Husker fans just say, you know what, let's go somewhere warm, hopefully, and be in a bowl game. And then let's celebrate signing day on Wednesday. Let's go back and look at the fun moments we had this year. And then, we'll continue to move forward and we'll continue to build the thing. But I don't want it to be anything else for me other than like I understand, and losing these last two games the way we've lost them is not good enough. But that does not minimize the fact that these kids have worked I don't say that these kids have worked like the Javens of the world and all those guys. All they dreamt about was going to a bowl game, and now they're going to two in a row, and not like with a waiver. Like they've earned their way into it. Disappointed with how it ended, but we'll continue to work and figure it out.
It's not something you can fix in a month, but the line of scrimmage component, where do you feel like you guys are right now, even compared to a couple of years ago? Like, do you feel like you're further along there, and how much further do you have to go to winning that part?
Yeah, no, that's I think that's the number one thing for us right now is like controlling the line of scrimmage. I don't want to minimize our offensive line, who was kind of under fire in the middle of the season, what they've done down the stretch, in my opinion, like to go out there and have 186 yards rush in the first half. To if the last two games, I believe if they don't quite get it, if it doesn't come in a 2-minute game in the fourth quarter, maybe they have a 300-yard game. So they're not giving up sacks. You got but that being said, all that being said, we have to win the lines of scrimmage to win. I mean, especially like we played two games with that's the win today was a severe issue, and so there's one point where I look out there on defense, okay, and I've got Riley Van Poppel, who's a sophomore. I've got Keona, who's a sophomore. I've got Will Waneri, who's a sophomore. I've got Dylan Rogers, who's a sophomore. I've got Rex Guthrie, who's a redshirt freshman. I've got Marshall, who's a junior, and I've got Donnie, who's a redshirt freshman. So those guys are all going to be great players. But that's not like I'm not selling a vision of hope. I'm saying like they have to grow up. That being said, we have to get to the point where like we run you over on the offensive and defensive lines. We had a great defensive line last year, and they were vets. We had 5th and 6th year guys and MJ Sherman and all those guys. And so, but I don't want to put this on these kids, right? Like we just have to continue to grow. We have to continue to develop our own players and recruit the best players possible. And if we want to compete at the level that we want to compete. And so 7-5 is not the level we want to compete at. We want to compete at a much higher level. And so we've had moments where I look this year like I thought we were doing that, and then other moments we didn't. And but I also don't want to minimize what the offensive line has done down this stretch here. They've I believe they've really come together.
If this was Emmett's last home game, how do you summarize what he's meant to the program?
I think Emmett's a tremendous example. of what great character and integrity brings, of a kid that, was, maybe undervalued coming out, who stayed here and stayed in the program and has done all the things and went from just sort of a rotational player to a kind of somewhat rotational starter to now. I mean, that was one of the best players in college football out there playing today. And so, that's why, I hope all of our guys, they sit there and they look at Emmett and they say to themselves, boy, I'm really disappointed today, but I just got to get back in the weight room with Corey on Tuesday and got to go eat with Kristen on Monday and trust that someday my breakout, like Emmett's having his breakout, will come. And so I'm really proud to coach Emmett. I'll support him whatever his decision is. I've told him that from day one. And, I think he'll be a really good pro player. And I think if he comes back here, he'll have another dynamic year. He'll be up for every major award, and he'll leave a Husker legend. But more importantly, he's a really good man.
Does this closing stretch make it more challenging to walk into the time of year where so much business in the sport is handled now over the next 4 to 6 weeks?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've got a great thing going. We've got great facilities. We've got great everything. I mean, I think Pat and his staff will do a great job. I mean, I think the recruits that have said they're coming here, I think they've seen what we can be. We've also seen what we don't want to be, like the last 2 days. But that's why they're coming here. They're coming here to get us over the hump, right? And so, not many people would have the crowd that we had today, and not many people would have the things that we have. And so, I mean, yeah, would I've loved to have ended with two wins and have everyone be here, 100%. But at the end of the day, people are coming here because they know this is the best place for them if they've committed to us, and then we hope the relationships that they have with us will be there and through thick and thin. So, like I said, Mitch, I think it relates to recruiting. I'm going to wake up every single day and work as hard as I can, and our staff will do the same thing and try to surround ourselves with as many positive people and people who believe in what we're doing, and we'll find a way to get it done.
Anything else, Coach?
All right, thank you guys for being all here.
Thank you.